Okay. I was just going through the list of the topics which are told to be important for the end semester. Actually, leverage is not there in that list. I was shocked to know that. I somehow assumed that leverage is there, but it's actually not. So what I decided was either way for the VABs, we are pretty much sure that question can be from anything. So we are going to discuss that, but not in a very question solving centric way. So I would like to rather focus on the concept where at least we know what is it, or have some idea what the leverage is really talking about. Let me just share my screen very quickly. Yeah. Now, as always, I have some examples, and from that only we will understand what exactly leverage is. For now, forget about leverage, forget about anything else. Let's discuss something that we have been doing in the financial management since the beginning. That is some profit calculation, EBIT calculation, and so on and so forth. I'll give you an example where there are, suppose 10 units. Suppose there are 10 units and your cells, the total cells is 100 rupees, meaning thereby per unit sales price is 10 rupees only. Suppose variable cost total is 30 rupees. So what is the variable cost per unit?
30 by 10, 3.
That is 3 rupees. So the difference comes to 70. Can somebody tell what is this 70? There is a name for it.
Contribution.
Yes, absolutely
What is
correct. 100 minus 30 is equal to 70. I was just asking what is the name of this 70? There is a name for it.
Margin, contribution margin.
Yeah, contribution margin or contribution alone is also fine. Then suppose we have fixed cost of 40 rupees. Then if the fixed cost is 40 rupees, what is the fixed cost per unit?
4 rupees.
4 rupees. And then we are getting a profit of 30 rupees. Okay. Now in this scenario, suppose I'm asking if we increase the number of units to 20, if we increase the number of units to 20, the sales will be 200.
100. Yeah.
Variable cost per unit was 3 rupees. So now 20 units, it should be 60 rupees. So our contribution comes to 140, which is 200 minus 60. Our fixed cost was 4 rupees per unit. So now for 20 units, it should be 80. Now profit becomes
80.
It'll be 140 minus 40.
not 80, is it?
I think something wrong in calculation.
Yeah. So how much should be the fixed cost for the 20 units?
Fixed cost for 20 units will be 80.
T.
I think that's the challenge. I think you made it 40 there.
Okay. If it is 80, then profit will be how much?
Then it will be 60.
70.
Profit will be
60.
60. Everybody agrees with it, right?
Yeah.
Does fixed
Yeah.
cost change?
No.
But you are setting a separate unit, right? So investment will be there. No?
Are you sure? If you are using more capacity in your factory and you're not increasing the capacity, you're just bringing in some more units, will your fixed cost increase?
That's why if you are not, see, if you are increasing the capacity, no. But if you are increasing the units, yes, there will be some part which will go as a long-term asset, right, Dheeraj? If you have to put 10 machines in the same facility,
Yeah.
so that should come as a part of fixed cost, right?
No. Fixed
Okay,
cost
no.
never change unless you are increasing the capacity. What you told is exactly other way around. Fixed cost will never change unless you are increasing the capacity. I'll give you an example. Suppose you have a machinery installed. The capacity of the machinery to produce 50 units, suppose, let me say 200 units in a day. In a day, it can produce 200. However, you see in the market, there is only demand for 10 units. You are producing for 10 units, right?
Yeah.
So whatever the machine charge is, the maintenance expenses, the fixed cost related to that machine, or the machine cost, the cost that you incurred to install that machine will be incurred once for those 10
Yes.
units. If you
Yes.
increase it to 20 units, it's still one only, right? If you are
Yeah.
producing 200 units also, then also it's one unit, once only, right?
Yes.
However, if you make it 210, if you are increasing by 10 units, then you have to install one more machinery because
Yes.
its capacity
That's right.
is increasing. Now you are increasing the capacity. The moment you increase the capacity, that's when the fixed cost changes. Other
Yeah.
than that, your fixed cost will remain as is. That's why it's called fixed, no? So variable cost it varies from units to units. However, fixed cost remains same unless and until there is an exception like increase of capacity. There is a very exceptional situation that doesn't happen normally. So the reason I tried to confuse and I was successful to confuse everybody, I have actually written correctly. That should be 40 only. But I told AT I needed somebody to correct me saying that no, Dheeraj, the fixed cost should not change. Fixed cost should remain 40 only. But good thing that you didn't also, because I didn't know that you might have a doubt there. Good thing that it got figured out. Now let me stop here and wait for 2 seconds if somebody is having any doubts.
So when you say the installed capacity is 600 units here,
Yeah.
and actual capacity used is 400, then it is okay that you say that we have to increase
Yeah.
production unit.
Yes. Yes.
But if you say we have to add another unit, so
Yeah.
I was thinking that another unit is another
In terms of
factory.
production unit. Okay. Oh, I got it.
That's what I thought. That's why I said 80.
Okay, okay, no problem there. No problem there then. So unless and until anything is mentioned, you assume the first scenario whenever I'm talking about this kind of small stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So basically what they are saying is they're maximizing the production.
Yes. Yes.
That's all there.
Producing more units. That's all. Producing more units. When I say units, that's I mean final product.
Production.
Yeah. Everybody is clear about it, right? Any doubts?
It's clear, Dheeraj.
Okay, awesome. Now just one more thing I want you to focus on. Now just see, by doubling the number of units, our profit, the difference in profit or the ratio of profit became 100 divided by 30, that comes to 3.33 times. When we increased the units, when we doubled the units, our profit increased by 3.33 times. Just focus on that for now. Okay, I don't want to go into the reason why there is a why there is such a big increase. I just want you to focus on the 3.33 for now. Let's go to one more example. In this example, we'll retain everything else as it was in the first two examples, except we'll increase the fixed cost by 10 rupees. It was earlier 40, it becomes 50. Now if you come from the beginning, just look at these two. Now I'm discussing these two. Now 10 units, selling price was 100. Our variable cost is 30. Our contribution comes to 70 rupees. Fixed cost changed. Fixed cost is 50 rupees. As I said, we are increasing by 10 rupees. Now our profit becomes 20 rupees. You go to the doubled units. Our number of units is 20. So sales becomes 200. Variable cost becomes 60. Our contribution becomes 140. Until now, everything is same between the first two examples and these two. And our fixed cost now is changing to 50. Now our profit becomes 90. Now the ratio becomes 4.5. The ratio becomes 4.5. Just keep a note on the fact that when you increased the fixed cost, when you increase the fixed cost, the frequency of increase of profit became more. Now just go to the next one now, where I have increased the fixed cost even more. Look at this one, 10, 100, 30, 70. Then I have increased the fixed cost to 60. Now our profit becomes 10. Now, when you double the units, now 20, 200, 60, 140, then fixed cost is 60. Our profit becomes 80. Now the profit increases 8 times. Now I want you guys to brainstorm a little and tell me whatever is coming to your mind. Why? By increasing our expense, how come by increasing our expense, we are able to increase the ratio of increase?
Because if we are increasing the fixed cost, that means the percentage of its share in the overall cost is increasing, which also means that the variable cost is decreasing. So the per unit extra cost required to produce extra, that is reducing the variable amount. So
No,
now
no,
the
no,
economics
that's
of scale
incorrect. No,
comes
no, no,
in.
that's incorrect. That's absolutely incorrect. Nothing is decreasing. If you see, variable cost is exactly same as the other scenario. Just look at this 30-60. As you're saying, variable cost is decreasing. You're
Right.
saying 30-60, 30-60, 30-60. It's not changing. Variable cost is not changing. Something else is happening altogether.
Contribution is also not changing.
Yes, contribution is
Only
exactly.
profit is changing.
Yes, only profit is changing. This is very nice brainstorming when you actually do a little bit of analysis of profit and loss statement. Especially, this is very beneficial for people who invest also. You know, this is one of the very good criteria to compare different companies. What is this ratio of change? Because you have all the data in front of you. So in order to find out the strength of a company, you can actually look at this factor. And let's go back to the example. Anybody else? If you think about it, is anything coming to your mind? Why there is such change? You know, if when you think about it in deep, it looks very simple. Why is this happening? Looks a very simple example where we're just doubling the units, that's all. But how come there is such a big change? 8 times. You're increasing the profit by 8 times just by increasing fixed costs. How come?
Is it because fixed cost and profit are complementary when it comes to calculating the contribution, and we know that contribution always is supposed to remain same unless
Can you repeat
there
that? Which ones are complementary, you said? Fixed cost and?
fixed cost and profit, they
Complementary.
make up the they make up the contribution, right?
Yes, yes, that is correct.
And contribution is supposed to remain same unless we increase unless we say set up another plant or
Correct, correct. Fair
put
enough.
in some extra fixed
Yes.
cost.
Yeah.
So the more I'm not able to put it
Now that you're talking about it, it doesn't make sense, right? I mean,
yeah.
yeah, that's all right. That's all right. That's what brainstorming is. You know, the definition of brainstorming is you try to think about a reason, you find out, no, it's not the reason, you go for another one. That's all right. Yeah, yeah. If somebody can come up with the fact, then that would be amazing, but that's all right. I can tell always.
I think what is happening is if you really look at it,
Yeah.
when the production increases twice, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it doubles.
Yeah.
And the overall expense still remains the same. Your profits basically, which is no, but then again it is related to it's a ratio between the profits, right? If the fixed cost was high,
Yeah.
fixed cost was high,
Yeah.
and your production was low, that's why you get low profit. And your fixed cost remaining same, and with the same, all things remaining same, you are getting higher production. So that's the reason why that ratio is changing.
Okay. It makes sense to some extent, but I need some clarity there, little bit of clarity, what you exactly mean. First question I have is, you said fixed cost remains same and fixed cost is changing, you said. Where do you see
remains same?
Remains same between the normal one and the doubled one? That's what you're saying, right?
Doubled one, yeah.
You said something changing. What did you say? Something else is changing?
So the contribution on the per piece, right, is higher. when it comes to, say, I'm producing 10 pieces at 6 rupees
Yeah,
and I'm producing 20 pieces at 6 rupees.
correct.
So that difference, because the fixed cost remains same,
Mhm.
and since the fixed cost is high, the ratio at a lower thing will be much lower compared to at a higher, because your denominator, if you take the ratio, your denominator
But
changes, right?
in your logic, let me just ask you one question. Okay, just look at the doubled profit. This is 100. This is 90. This is 80. It is
Yeah.
not increasing. It is actually decreasing. Even though
No,
it is
but
decreasing.
because this is low,
Hmm.
your fixed cost, which was lower, right, which
Mhm.
comes out
Mhm.
of that, and say it's a ratio of 1 to 2,
Yes,
the first option to second option.
correct.
Since the first option has a higher margin or
Yes,
higher profit,
I was
then
coming to that
the
only. Yes,
ratio, the ratio of that is where it is a difference, right?
correct. Our denominator is decreasing. That's the
Yeah, denominator,
our
exactly. Yeah.
denominator is decreasing. So I'll just answer that question with a single answer. The answer to this question is leverage. Okay.
Ah.
It's the leverage effect for which a company actually earns a big amount by investing more, by choosing to invest more in the fixed cost and earning more money. We have actually discussed in another discussion where I told how come I told this sentence. If somebody can relate, that would be amazing. Okay. How come by increasing our expense, we are getting a benefit? Where was it? Can somebody relate and tell me? I told this. How come we are getting a benefit by increasing the expense?
That's on the debt when we calculate, right?
Yes, that about the tax effect of it. Interest,
Taxation, yeah,
tax. Yes.
because of that.
When we are
Yeah.
increasing the interest, our tax was decreasing. Remember? So that where we were getting the benefit there. A similar kind of thing is here, but not exactly similar to that. Now keep that tax example aside. Now let's look at this example for a bit. What is happening here is until the point fixed cost comes into picture, everything is fine because everything is equal with equal in all the 6 examples. The moment fixed cost comes into picture, that's where the difference lies, because after the fixed cost you have realized anything that you earn, you don't have to pay for fixed cost anymore. Now imagine, until that 40 rupees is recovered, until that 40 rupees of fixed cost is recovered, you have to count that fixed cost into your account in order to determine the profit until that 40 rupees is recovered. Once that is recovered, you don't have any fixed cost, isn't it? Whatever you are earning, whole contribution is a profit. So that is what is called a leverage effect. So that's what is used by many companies in order to boost their profitability, basically. And that can be computed in a separate way also. You can just take the item right above it and divide it by the item below it. If you look at the fixed cost, what is the item right above it? That is contribution. The item right below it is what? Profit. We can call it EBIT, EBIT. Okay. You divide the contribution by the EBIT, you will get the leverage effect. Now, let's actually calculate that. Let's do 70 divided by 30. That comes to 2.3333. Now, what does that mean? If you increase sales by 1, your EBIT will increase by 2.33. If you increase your sales by 1, your EBIT will increase by 2.33. Now, you just have to remember that here the fixed cost has a bigger picture, and in order to calculate, you just take the item above it divided by item below it. So contribution divided by EBIT. Now, any doubts in that, please?
Contribution by EBI. EBI, sorry, contribution by EBIT.
Yes.
Yeah, sir, teachers somewhere.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Okay, I'll take that as a no, so nobody has any doubts. I actually I have a derivation to this also. I did not go there because we don't need it. How exactly this divided by this coming to leverage effect, and how does that actually help us in determining the percentage of increase? But I'm not going there. You just have to simply remember that somebody asking you what is leverage. Specifically, this one that we discussed is called operating leverage, and I'll come to why this is operating leverage and is there any another leverage. I'll talk about that a little later. But before that, if somebody asks you operating leverage, you just have to mention exactly this kind of same example. Operating leverage is nothing but your contribution divided by the EBIT, earning before interest and tax. Because of this effect, our percentage of increase can increase, basically. It sounds like a tongue twister, but it is true. So our percentage of increase will increase because of the leverage. Now let's come to one other example which is exactly similar to that. It's just that the names are slightly different. I'll start here with EBIT, earning before interest and tax, which is nothing but equal to this one. This profit and EBIT are same. Okay, in the same example, you can assume. Now, suppose our EBIT is 2000, our interest is 500, EBT is 1500, our tax is suppose 30%, that comes to 450, our PAT, that is net income, is 1050 in this calculation. If we increase the debt, to in such a way that our interest becomes 800, we will see how it happens. But for the time being, let's assume that our profit is doubled. Suppose our profit is doubled, that is EBIT has doubled. Instead of 2000, it becomes 4000. Now our interest becomes
remains same.
It remains same because our debt is same in this example for now. Now our EBT becomes 3500. Our tax is 30% of that, which is 1050 now. Now our PAT, that is net income, becomes 2450. If we calculate what is the change that happened, and we did this divided by that, it comes to 2.33. 2.33 times the profit has basically increased. You increase the EBIT by, when you doubled the EBIT basically. Now you move to another example where you have just increased the interest by 300 rupees. Now it's 800. In that way, your PAT comes to 840, and in the other way around, it comes to 2240. Your increase is 2.67. So in this example, when you have increased the interest to 800, doubling the EBIT makes a change of 2.66 times in the profit. Now, if you can see, exactly similar effect is there here also. Now that I have told you the formula of leverage, the logic to formula of leverage, can somebody tell me what should be the formula of leverage here?
That should be PAT by EBIT. EBIT by PAT.
EBIT by PAT. Anybody else? Any idea?
Sorry, EBT by PAT.
Okay. Anyone else?
1 minute.
No problem.
No, it should be EBIT by.
I'll repeat the logic. The logic was whichever item is having the effect, the leverage effect, the item above it divided by item below it.
EBT by PAT then.
EBT by PAT. Okay. Noted. Anybody else?
Or by EBIT by EBT. EBT.
Okay.
One of those.
Okay. Got it.
No, I think it is EBIT by EBT.
Yes.
Because the fixed cost comes only in interest.
Yes, exactly. So it is EBIT divided by EBT. So this is very easy to remember when you have this picture in your mind, what after what, and this above divided by below. So EBIT divided by EBT. This is called financial leverage. So above one we called, that is operating leverage, and this one is called financial leverage. So operating leverage is contribution divided by EBIT, and financial leverage is EBIT divided by EBT. Now, in any doubts case, Joshi, Anvesa, is it clear?
Yeah, Dheeraj, yes.
Great. One more formula for these is by just taking a change in percentage. What do I mean by that? Suppose we are, as I said in the original one, that we are we are looking at the change in the EBIT, or here I'm calling it as profit, on the basis of the change in cells. Cells is 100 to 200. Our EBIT has become 300 to 100. You can just simply take this change also, meaning thereby change in EBIT divided by change in cells. Change in EBIT divided by change in cells. Everything is written here. All the formulas are here also. Yeah, either way I'll say this document. I'm just telling you, you can remember these formulas by just logic also. You don't have to really cram these. So if you look at this example, the last item was profit. First item was cells, units or cells. Anything is fine. Because if you can see, there is a direct relationship between units and cells. So if you take cells also, that is fine. So change in profit divided by change in sales will also give you the same leverage. Exactly in the similar way, if you take change in basically PB, profit after tax, or change in EBT, profit before tax, that is also fine. PAT is also fine. Divided by change in EBIT, then that becomes your what do you call it, financial leverage. That is, so that is that. Now that we have discussed these two, one more leverage actually is called combined leverage, which takes effect of both these things. You can just simply calculate it by multiplying both the formulas. Now, one formula was contribution divided by EBIT, another was EBIT divided by EBT. Just look at this one. Here it is written like that. Contribution divided by EBIT and EBIT divided by EBT. Actually, EBIT gets cancelled and the final formula that remains is contribution divided by EBT. Contribution divided by EBT. If you look at it, contribution is nothing but what was before, above the fixed cost, and EBT is the one that is after the interest. So basically you're taking both the effects. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Now, exactly in the similar way, if you take up the percentage one, the difference one. So in the first one, as I told, it was change in EBIT divided by change in cells. The second one was change in, let's say, EBT, or PAT also is fine. Change in EBT divided by change in EBIT. If you look at it, change in EBIT gets cancelled. Change in EBIT was here, change in EBIT is here also, it gets cancelled. And the final formula becomes change in EBT or change in PAT also, it's fine. Change in PAT or change in EBT divided by change in cells. You can also calculate.
But Dheeraj, if you go to your first one where say, you say the top has to be divided by bottom, right?
The first one, that
one
is
on the top,
no,
one on the top has to be divided by one on the bottom.
Yes, yes. No,
Right.
So it's other way around. It's other way around. So bottom has to be divided by the top.
Bottom has to be divided by
the top.
Okay, so EBT divided by no, but then that will
No, see, 1 second. Change in, so when we are talking about the difference, no, that is a whole different formula. So don't apply that logic which I told there, that bottom or top one divided by bottom. When I said that was for the contribution divided by EBIT. Okay.
The leverage for that particular year or that particular item.
Yes. When you are looking at two different years and you are taking the change, that goes other way around. That is bottom divided by top. That is the first item divided by, last item divided by the first item.
Okay.
That's the other way around. Yeah. Because the difference only that is happening. Is that clear, everybody? Any doubts? Okay. If not, then let's quickly finish off this. I think we'll be done today very quickly. I don't want to pick anything else also. Very small example. Let's read out this example. The installed capacity of a factory is 600 units. So the total capacity of the whole factory is 600 units. Actual capacity used is 400 units. So right now we are producing and selling 400 units. That's what means when they say actual capacity used is 400 units. Selling price per unit is 10 rupees. You are given the selling price. Variable cost is 6 rupees. calculate the operating leverage in each of these three situations. There are three situations given. Fixed cost is 400, fixed cost is 1000, fixed costs are 1200. In the same exact way, you just have to calculate the operating leverage. Can you quickly do it and tell me the answers?
So your production remains at 400 only, right?
Yes, yes, that remains constant. So operating leverage, as I said, here I'm highlighting the formula, contribution divided by EBIT.
Cost is 6 per unit, selling price 10. Is it 1.33, 2.67, and 4?
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. Yes.
Dheeraj, I have a doubt here.
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, please go ahead. So the install capacity is 600 units and actual capacity is 400 units.
Correct.
So then that's actually confusing. I mean, both these data, what does these data signify?
I'll tell you. Suppose you have a factory, okay? Suppose you purchased a machinery. When purchasing, you ask the manufacturer of that machinery, how much production can I make in a day? He told, in a day, forget about it. In a month, you can produce 600 units of product. That is the capacity of the machine. Even if you continuously produce using it 24/7, in a month, you can produce 600 units. Now you come to your factory, you look at the demand, how many customers are there in this market, how many people can purchase. You saw that only 400 units is the demand in the market. Will you produce 600 or 400?
400.
400, because the demand is not there, so why will you produce? If somebody else comes in and tells, I need some specific product, then please produce 10 or 20 units more, then you will do that exception. But for now, as per your analysis, your actual capacity is 400 only, because the demand is like that much only. So you're going to produce 400 only. So that's what is the meaning between full capacity and actual capacity. That is installed capacity and actual capacity.
Yeah, fine, Dheeraj, I'll solve it.
Got it, Dheeraj.
Yeah. Shall move on to the next question. I have it here.
Sales is 2 lakhs, variable cost 14.
In this, just calculate the leverages. Forget about the last sentence that I'll have to pitch in.
Second one, operating leverage is 3, is it?
Okay, he has given something else also. What is it says, including 15% interest on 1 lakh. So this is equal to
So we have to deduct to get the actual fixed cost, is it? To, we have to
I'll-
deduct the 15%.
yeah. So slight trick to it is there in that. Let me just ask Joshi, are you done with the first question?
Yeah, Dheeraj, I got it. It's
Okay, good.
1.33,
Right.
2.67, and 4.
Perfect. The second question, the sales value is normal, variable cost is normal. This fixed cost, they have given 40,000 and they have in bracket, they have said including 15% interest on 1 lakh. So interest is 1 lakh multiplied by 15% comes to,
15,000.
what is the rest, 25,000?
That's a fixed cost.
Yes. So that fixed cost, when they say that is the total, out of which 25,000 is fixed cost